We're
yes,
back again,
we are
John.
back again, yeah, and it's great.
What got me about this show, you were saying, Michael, we've got to do a show about blockages. I'm going, what, are we going plumbing, John?
Yeah.
And you're going, no, it's the great blockage for business owners.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, come on.
I
You've
want to
kept
make
me in suspense all week.
Yes, and I want to kind of make it amplified by calling it the great blockages, because I think if business owners can get a handle that they get themselves in trouble by the things I will be talking about today, because we trip ourselves up with that. We let blockages come all the time, and we don't understand this is about you on the inside and what really is going on inside of you, the stuff that you've carried. You know, we call it baggage. You know, we carry this along and it weighs us down, trips us up. It's almost like having a chain around our ankle, and it just hurts and it's uncomfortable. And I want to amplify it because I want for business owners and leaders and anybody that's listening to understand you are really important in this dynamic, the you. So this is not necessarily any particular business principles. I really want to help the business owner wrestle with themselves so they can understand themselves better and go, yes, I do struggle with blockages and I need to identify them and I need to own them. So
just on that, John, do you think the first blockage people have is a lack of self-belief? We talk about this a lot, but is this, or are they more deep-seated, or is it basic blockages where they're going, I don't know if I'm doing business right? What do you find some of the common ones are people bring to you?
The common one is lack of confidence. So, and that can be a self-belief thing. Self-acceptance is quite massive. In lots of people, and I find I find it regularly in leaders. The lack of self-acceptance and also the lack of self-improvement. Really interesting as well. And those two are quite interesting because they're quite foundational to the inner person that you are, and it kind of causes us to be quite distracted and negative. So we often are fairly aggressive in other dimensions, and we come across in that manner, and yet we're not really meaning to.
What I found interesting when you said that, to really put the light, you probably know, set the light bulbs on me. You said lack of self-development. How many times do we talk leaders, you develop other people? And here you are saying, hold on. It's a bit like with the aircraft, isn't it? When the oxygen falls down, look after yourself first.
That's right.
Is this a similar principle? You should be looking after your own training, and that's where you can help others.
Well, that's what we've done nearly all of our shows. We've been talking about giving principles to business leaders and owners to help them do what they do as they lead and influence in their business and organization so they can do that better. And I know that there is times, and we haven't done a lot of this because I'm not a psychologist, but I'm an experienced leader and I've worked a lot with people. And I want to help the person. And so it goes back to the four things that I do. I coach the person, I coach the business, I coach the person in the business, and I coach the business in the person. I want to talk to the person. I want to coach the person.
Because you're really big that it always starts there.
Absolutely. And so people sometimes call that life coaching. It might just be, but as a professional coach, they're the elements that I'm actually doing with. And so I wanted to show the complexity. And as much as I've done lots of the other dynamics about business, if you fail, your business will fail, your marriage will fail, you're failing. And there's just huge ramifications. And if I can help you, and it doesn't mean you've necessarily got to have everything right. I have coached, a high quality leader who struggled with depression. So he didn't fail because he had depression. He just recognized what that was, and we worked in the dynamics of leadership and business, but also helped him work on him and put those mechanisms in place. And plus he went for external support to help him.
That's an interesting challenge when people have got depression. I know when it's medical depression, you take drugs and so forth, but a lot of it, recognizing it. Do you find when you're talking about this blockage, that the first bit, they recognize it's there, but you think the confidence is in how can I tell somebody else? Because what will they think of me?
Oh, totally. And that's why having a coach in the room is great for them, because their boss isn't going to know, their peers aren't going to know, the people that they manage aren't going to know, etc.
Yeah.
Only I know. And it's a confidential relationship, so they can be frank and open and transparent and be real, sometimes for the very first times in their life, that somebody is taking the time to listen to me. That's the power of coach, mentor type dynamic relationships, bringing that into your world. And that's why when I stole this from a colleague of mine, and I asked for him for permission. His name is Darren Wedge, and he said, absolutely, John, you know, I got it and I learnt it and have applied it. And so I said to Darren, you know, I'll let my friends know that are listening to me. And I wanted to share this because I know the power of what this can do when we recognize there are blockages in our world that simply trip us up. And we don't know what it is that's actually tripping us up, what's getting in the way. And I want to help you as the person and bring that clarity into your world so you can take this away. Because sometimes these dynamics are a little bit hard to wrestle with.
I was going to say, does sometimes people struggle that I know I've got blockage, but I just can't put my finger on it? And is that where your skill of intuition as well as skill set come to ask just the right question that they have what you call those that's what's bugging me.
Well, just this week I talked to an accountant. And we're talking about next year because we're kind of coming to the end of a year. So wherever those phases are when you listen to this, times of change happen all the time. And I asked him the question, he wants to grow his client base. So I said to him, do you have any kind of number that you want to grow it to? And he'd not thought, he stopped, kind of leant back and thought, oh, I don't know. Then I said, have you got any kind of strategy that might help you do what you want to do? And he stopped and he leant back and he thought, that was a good question. And so absolutely, that's what we do as coaches, and what I do as a coach is bring that question into people's world. And that's what I want to do in this dynamic, is pose the statement as the great blockage question. Are you aware, and I know this, people listening to me are aware, and now you are going to be helped to understand that. And that's what excites me about doing this, that I can share this across the world, which is so much fun.
It is.
It really is. And help people today, as they listen to this, to be impacted and helped to recognize me, and I can move forward and I can break some blockages off me, and I can move into a healthier frame. But it's not because you've listened to this. Because we're having a conversation.
Absolutely.
And we're going to be back in just a minute.
Absolutely. And, you know, I think this is probably a show that should be continued.
Okay.
And I know you've got some very specific plans. I think there's probably enough, for 4 shows on this, I think, that people could really sink their teeth into.
I've got some really interesting concepts to share, absolutely.
So make sure that you've only seen part 1. We're actually going to do a 4-part series on this because I think this is really, really important. I think nailing the great blockage. So make sure you subscribe and hit that little bell, because that will notify you when the next show comes up.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mike. That's so important, because we're doing this to help you. So